a platform allowing data manipulation and machine learning based on low code. So same as for the earlier conference, if you have any question, please await the end of the conference. You can ask them in the chat, or you will be able to ask them on the Discord channel that we opened. You might have seen it earlier with Thomas Cloac. So please have a good conference, and I'm going to put the speaker on for now.
Okay, thank you very much. So normally I share my screen. Okay. Okay, perfect. So good afternoon, everybody. Happy to be here with you today. I will quickly introduce myself. So my name is Valentin Villedieu. I'm a machine learning engineer at Accenture. So before I did a master specialized in data science and in applied mathematics in the École Centrale de Nantes. And I work for Accenture for almost 2 years now. So for the ones who don't know, Accenture is an IT consulting company. So the objective of Accenture is to help its customers, which are other companies, to move forward with, to develop, to deploy new technologies, such as artificial intelligence, such as virtual reality or cloud, for instance, by bringing knowledge, by bringing expertise and resources. Today the idea was to do a small presentation around the low-code platforms for data science. So I will try to explain what are the low-code platforms and what are their limits, what are their benefits through the example of Dataiku, which is one of the
I'm
most
sorry to
famous low-code
interrupt you,
platform.
but there seems to be a
Yes.
problem since people in the chat cannot see the slides right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
you
sorry.
don't have the slide?
No, right now it's okay.
Here it's okay.
Now there seems to be a problem with your full screen.
Okay. I will reshare my screen. No problem.
Yeah, don't worry.
Let's try. Do-do. Okay. Now, do you see my screen here?
Yeah, we can see the screen. But it seems that
The
when
full screen?
you put your slides on full screen, there seems to be a problem, and I do not understand why either. But right now it's not working.
It's not working here?
Nope. We can only
Okay.
see them when they
So,
are, yeah, when they are like that, it works, but not the other way.
okay. So we will do like that.
Yeah,
Up,
no worries.
up. We can do. Uh, uh, Tuck. Okay. Can you read the screen?
Yeah, it seems like it's perfect right now.
Okay, perfect. So let's continue. So yes, I was saying that I will do a small presentation around the low-code platforms, and I will take the example of Dataiku, which is one of the most famous low-code platform today, and a French one. So it's quite an interesting one. Just before deep diving into this topic, I would like to take maybe a few seconds to talk about why this topic. So I don't have any slides for that, but as you know, today companies have more and more data. So one company today can have a huge amount of data, and this data has a real value. This data is a really valuable resource for the companies, but to be able to extract the value from your data, you need to work on it. So you need to clean the data, you need to transform your data, you need to create models. So the value is not easily accessible for the companies. And until few years ago, only a small amount of people were finally able to extract the value from the data, because you needed to be an expert, you needed to be really good in statistics and so on. And so it was really complex for the companies, because they needed to have really specialized profiles, and these profiles were rare and expensive. So the data science project was quite complex for the companies. And few years ago, new solutions, new tools appeared, reducing this issue. And these solutions are the low-code platforms. So here I will talk about the low-code platforms for data science. But of course, there are a lot of low-code platforms in other IT fields. But I just want to highlight that it's a kind of revolution today, the low-code platforms. I will try to explain why. Um, and it's really interesting for the companies today to work with this kind of tools. So let's continue. So the presentation today will be split finally in two phases. In the first phases, I will talk about so Dataiku, the low-code platforms in general, the functionalities and the users. So who can be interested today in the low-code platforms for data science? And in the other phase, after I will do directly a live demo of Dataiku on a real project we did at Accenture to show you the tool and for you to see and to project yourself with this kind of tool. So let's start with Dataiku, the low-code platform. So today I chose to talk about Dataiku for two reasons. The first reason is the fact that Dataiku is one of the most famous low-code platform today. And the second one is that it's a French company. So it's a French company created in 2013 in Paris. So Dataiku is a French company. Dataiku moved in the United States in 2015 because data market was clearly better and clearly stronger in the United States. And since 2015, Dataiku knows an exponential growth and an impressive growth. So Dataiku is $215 million raised in 4 years. So it's one of the most valuable uh, French unicorn today. So it's really interesting, and that shows that there is a strong interest for the IT world for the tool provided by Dataiku. And this tool is called DSS. So DSS for Data Science Studio. And as you guess, it's a low-code platform specialized in data science and machine learning. So when I talk about a low-code platform, I mean um, a platform allowing to develop without or with just few lines of code. So it's really powerful. And in the case of DSS, we have a complete end-to-end platform for data science project. So with DSS, you will be able to connect your data. So you will be able to connect to your local databases if you have SQL, Hadoop, or so on. You will be able to connect to your cloud, Azure, AWS, GCP, and after you will be able to process your data. You will be able to do data processing to transform your data, to clean up your data. You will be able to explore your data. You will be able to do visualization, create charts, and so on. You will be able to develop machine learning algorithms, develop machine learning models, and because we have really an end-to-end platform, you will be able to deploy your work. You will be able to automate. You will be able to do MLOps if you want. So you can do a lot of things just inside the same tool. So here again, I take the example of Dataiku, but there are many other platforms on the market. So I just wanted to highlight some differentiators of Dataiku. So the first one is that the platform is really easy to use. So it's really visual, really ergonomic. So you will see directly in the demo just after. The collaborative part of Dataiku is really developed as well. Third point, really interesting, and I want to highlight this point in particular, is that the software is open. So I mean open, I mean that you can do 95% of your work without coding. So with visual functionalities directly in the tool. But the 5% which are too complex for the for avoiding coding, you will be able to manage them directly with code, because you will be able to write your own code inside your application and edit everything in the app with Python, with R, or with SQL requests. So you have the benefits of the low code and of the code, and you don't have the limits of both. So it's really interesting. Next point, it's suitable for every level of skills. So you can use this kind of tool just if you want to explore your data, if you want to build a few charts. It's an interesting tool, and you can use this tool if you want to build complex deep learning algorithms as well, because you will be able to do everything inside the app. And the final point is the workflow. So here I won't detail because you will see directly in the demo what is the workflow and why is it interesting. Um, so here it's the Gartner 2021 for the specialized platform in data science and machine learning. So as I already said, Dataiku is one example. There are a lot of other companies today which are platforms specialized in data science. So here you can see that Dataiku is one of the leaders. But you can see that there are a lot of other names. You can see that all the big names in IT have their own solution. So you can see IBM, you can see Microsoft, you can see Google, you can see AWS. Personally, I like Dataiku. I find that Databricks and DataRobot are as well really good solutions. If you want to try some of them, I will advise Dataiku, Databricks, and DataRobot personally, but it's my opinion. So now let's talk a bit about the functionalities of the tool more in detail. So here I tried to draw the global journey of a data scientist, the major steps of a data science project today. So in a data science project, you will want to extract your data from multiple sources. You will want to analyze your data, potentially to visualize your data. You will want to do data cleaning, data engineering. You will want to select your models. You will want to select your parameters, your hyperparameters. You will want to select your training methods. Potentially, you will want to uh, understand the importance of your different features. You will want as well to detect if there are issues. And then you will want to compare the execution time of your different models, the scores of your different models. More and more today, you will want to interpret, to explain the results of your models. And once you chose your best model, you will want to automate the process, you will want to deploy it, potentially you will want to export it. So here it's the global journey of a data scientist. And with the yellow stars, you can see the level of maturity of the tool for each step. So two comments here. First, there is no steps without stars. So we have really an end-to-end platform. So everything can be done in the tool. And second point is that you can see that most of the time you have 3 or 2 stars on the steps. So you have a really good level of maturity in all these steps inside the same tool. So to be honest, when I discovered, sorry, um, the the low-code platform for data science, I was really impressed by the power of these tools, and it's really impressive to see everything you can do just with one tool without code or almost without code. Um, so to conclude this first phase of the presentation, let's say, who can be interested in DSS, and more generally, who can be interested in local platforms for data science? So there are 3 groups of people. The first one are the data scientists. Why the data scientist? Because with this kind of tool, all the projects will be faster and easier, because all the easy tasks, but time-consuming tasks, will be done just in few clicks. With in few drag and drops, you can do a lot of tasks, time-consuming tasks, and you don't have the limitation due to low code because you can edit everything. So if you can not manage with the visual recipe, with the visual functionalities, you will be able to code what you want. So no limits. And third point, really, really important today, um, is that you have in this kind of tool a lot of features to communicate and to explain your results to non-initiated people. And it's really important because when you are a data scientist, you will need um, to communicate with a lot of people which are not initiated to statistics, which are not initiated to data science. And most of the time, it's quite complex to explain the concepts in a project. And so with this kind of tool, you will be able to have feature to communicate and visual things to explain your project. And it's really, really important today. The second group of people are the people interested in data science, but which don't have any basics in data science. Because with this kind of tool, you will be able to create machine learning algorithms quickly without knowledge in statistics. And finally, the tool will take your hand and help you step by step, explain you what to do. And it's a really, really good way to learn data science. So if you are interested in data science, if you want to learn machine learning, for instance, really I advise for you to test this kind of tool because it's a really good support to learn. And the final group of people who can be interested in the low-code platforms are the people interested to have insight in their data. So people who don't want to do complex machine learning models, but just people who wants to understand, who wants to draw some charts, who wants to follow up metrics. With this kind of tool, you will be able to do the visualization. You will be able to create dashboard and so on. And so you will be able to follow up your data. So that's it for the first phase of the presentation. So it was just to explain a bit what are the low-code platforms, who can be interested in the low-code platforms, and now I will do a live demo of Dataiku on a real project we did at Accenture. So this project is named Road Safety. So for this project, we used data that you can find on the website data.gouv.fr. So I don't know if you know this website, but it's the French open data website. So you can find a lot of data about a lot of topics in this place, and notably, you can find a lot of data on the road accidents in France uh, between 2005 and 2019. So in fact, for each of the 15 years, you will have a lot of data and data about all the accidents which have been registered in France, with for each accident the characteristics of the accident, so the date, the weather, for instance, data about the vehicles. So if you have cars, if you have bus, if you have bicycle, and so on. Data about users, so the age, the sex, the number of people in the car, and data about the places. So if the accident was on a highway or on a countryside road, or I don't know. So finally, for this project, we used 60 datasets with more than 100,000 records per datasets. So quite a good base to work on machine learning. So what we wanted to do with this project was to build a machine learning model able to predict the severity of potential road accident, knowing the characteristics of the drive. So the idea was to say, okay, I'm a 25 years old guy. I am driving my cars on the highway at 4 a.m. on Saturday, and the weather is really bad. If I have an accident, uh, will I die? Will I be hurted? Will I be hurt? Sorry. And what will be the severity of my accident? So that was really the goal of this project. So how we did that? So we used Dataiku to aggregate all this data together to prepare this data for machine learning, and we use Dataiku to deploy machine learning models to predict the severity of the accident. So for the ones who are wondering why why we did that, so in fact we have a lot of ideas that we can put in place with this kind of project, with this kind of model. For example, we thought to build a dangerousness indicator to sensitize people to road safety. And we can thought to something more complex. For instance, we thought to a GPS able to compute the less dangerous road to take, or a GPS able to give you the best compromise between the time of drive and the safety of the drive, for instance. So, but we can imagine a lot of other things, of course. So just before to show you in the tool what it looks like, what we did first, we take all the data year per year, and we prepare them. We clean up them. We mostly we clean up them, and we prepare them a bit for the machine learning. Then we aggregated them to have one data set per year. So it's most a join. In fact, we joined all the data together to have one data set per year. Then we will aggregate all the data, all the years together to have finally one data set with all the information about all the years in one place. Then we prepare this data for the machine learning. Then we will split this data, training set, testing set, train a model on the training set, and test it on the testing set. And we will see if we are able to predict something with this data. So now I will go directly on the tool. So I will just share and reshare my screen with the correct yes. Okay, so do you see my screen here? Okay, perfect. So here we are in Dataiku. So Dataiku is a software, so it's working on Linux. So here I work on WSL for the ones who know, and I can access my Dataiku directly um, locally on my machine. So here you have the workflow Dataiku, so the central place in the software where you can see all your projects. So here you have the projects I just tried to explain before. So what you can see here, so of course I can navigate in the project, and if I zoom, there is a lot of little things inside. But if I just give an overview here, you have three different type of areas. You can see that you have a lot of blue areas on the left, one purple area on the middle, and one red area on the right. So is just a way to separate the different process and the different tasks we did on the project. So in fact, you have one blue area per year. So here, as I explained just before, we took the data we have year per year for vehicles, users, characteristics, and place, and we will prepare them and join them together. Then in the purple area, we will aggregate all the years, stack them together, and in the red place, we will deploy and test machine learning models. So, of course, I won't have the time to show you everything on the app, but I will try to give you a quick overview. So here I can open one dataset for you to see what it looks like in Dataiku. So here you have a dataset about the users in the accident in 2013. So you have a lot of columns with a lot of information here. So for instance, here you have so it's the birthday year, the birth year of the conductor, for instance. And directly here, you will be able, with the tool to explore your data. So you will have a lot of features. So a bit like in Excel, you can filter, you can sort, you can color column based on certain value. But you can do more stuff. You can, for instance, analyze your column, and the tool will directly give you the distribution of your data. You will have the box, you will have the top values, you will have statistics, median, standard deviations, and so on. You will have information about the quality of your data. For instance, here you can see that there is mostly green and a bit of gray at the end. That means that you have a missing value. So when it's gray, when it's green, it's everything is okay. You will be able directly here. You will be able to create charts as well. So for instance, if I go here, you can see that I already draw some charts. I can show you directly. So I have all my columns here. I can say just with drag and drop. So I will put the number of record and I will count. I will try to, yes, the number of accident depending on the year or the birth year. So directly it's appearing. If I want to add information about the sex of the conductor, up, and I can really easily design graphs, and I can change, of course, the kind of graph quickly. And I can do a lot of things directly from the application. For the ones who are interested, we can do a lot of things as well, more advanced functions. So you can do univariate analysis, you can do bivariate analysis, you can do statistical tests, correlation matrix, and so on, PCA if you want. So you have a lot of statistical tool directly in the application. So once once you explored your data, you will want to prepare the data. You will want to clean up. You will want to do a lot of things on your data. So here it's what you can see with the yellow bubble. So you can see that you have 6 yellow bubble here, and you have 3 types of yellow bubble. So here you have a brush. The brush is a recipe for preparing, so for a clean up mainly your data. So you will have a list of transformation applied to your data. Here you can see that you have a group recipe. So here it's a way to group your data depending on certain value. Here you have a join. So that means that you will join together the data exactly like with a join in SQL, for instance. So if I show you just quickly the brush, because it's quite interesting to know. When I go in the brush, just the time to load. When you go in the brush, you will have on the left a list of transformation applied to your data. So it's quite simply to understand. So you, for instance, here move numv before place. That means that I take the column numv and I move it before the column place. Here, keep rows where catch you is between 1 and 2. So we can do filter like that. We can rename column, you can remove columns, you can filter depending on formulas, and you can do a lot of things. So here you have a complete catalog with I don't know how many visual functions already coded that you can just take and apply to your data.
Okay, everyone, the problem has been solved. Seems like there was a connection problem on Valentin's side. So now it's alright. I'm going to put him back on stream. So please enjoy the end of the conference. Alright, Valentin.
So here you can see 3 type of bubble. You have here a join bubble. So you will join finally your data set to have one data set. So it's exactly like a join in SQL, for instance. You have a group bubble here. So to group data depending on some values. And here you have the brush, which are transformation. So I will directly show you what it looks like. Um, So here you are inside the recipe, so the function to transform your data, and you will have here a list of transformations that you applied to your data. So it's really really easy to understand. So you have a list. So here, move the column numv before the column place. You have, for instance, here keep rows where catch you this column is between 1 and 2. You will have creation of column depending on formulas. You will be able to transform your data with a lot of pre-coded functionalities. So here I can show you we have a huge catalog with a lot of pre-coded functionalities that you can directly apply to your dataset. So you can do find and replace, you can split, you can use formula, you can extract with regex if you want. So it's really convenient, and you just need to add what you want to do. So that was to show you. So if I go back on the flow, so here we work on the data year per year. So here for 2009. So at the end we have just one dataset with all the information. And if I go in the middle here, we will stack all these datasets together to have one dataset with all the year. So here you can see the bubble to stack the data together. So I will just, I won't detail all the steps because I don't have the time. I'm already out of time, I think. Um, so I can show you directly what it looks like before applied machine learning. So here we did some transformation on our data. And so we have this dataset. So this dataset, we have a lot of information about the type of vehicles in the accident. So if it's a car, for instance, information about the sex, information about the age of the conductor, if it's a senior, if it's a young conductor, data about the number of people in the car, data about the season, about the day of the week, about the hour, about the lightning, and so on. So really a lot of data about the accident, and we have the severity of the accident. So the severity of the accident is a score. If it's low, it's like it's not a severe accident. If it's high like that, it's like the accident was severe. So here it's a really great score. So that means that some people died during these accidents, for instance. And we will try to predict this score based on the other columns. So to do so, we split, as often in data science in machine learning, we split the dataset in two parts, one part for the training and one part for the testing. So it's 20% here, 80% here in our case. So here again, you have a bubble to do this step just in few clicks. And then once you are here, you will be able to deploy your machine learning. So I will quickly show you. So here it's all the stuff I can do on my dataset. So for instance, you have all the visual recipes. So the yellow bubble I showed you already. I can do my own code if I want. So as I explained, if I cannot manage with these bubbles, I can write my Python, my OR. I can do Spark and so on. And I will be able to access the lab. So the lab in DSS, it's the machine learning place where you will be able to do a lot of machine learning projects. So here I will just simply create a new analysis on my dataset. So uh, test test demo, for instance. I will create my analysis, and here you will see that everything will be explained by the app. So here I have my data, and I will go on models. Here I can say create first model. So here the application will say, okay, what do you want to do? I want to predict a value. Okay, which value do you want to predict? I want to predict the severity of my accident. Okay, and then I have several possibilities. I can do quick prototypes. So here, Dataiku will choose all the parameters for me, all the models for me, so I don't need to do anything.
or here I can write down my own algorithm if I want. So there is different level um, of maturity, different level of complexity in the models we want to create. So in our case, we say, okay, quick prototype. And then in a few seconds, Dataiku will say, okay, train. So he chose for me two algorithms, 41 features, and all the parameters. So I don't need to do anything. And I can create a machine learning algorithms to predict the severity, sorry. Um, of course, if I want to change the setup, if I want to change the settings, I can access everything here. So in design, I can change my target, I can change the splitting strategy, I can change the metrics used. So it's R2 score, I can choose the root mean square error, for instance. I can check which columns are used or not. So here you can see that the column voiture accident ID is rejected because it's a key, so it's not interesting for machine learning. So it's rejected, but if I want to use it, I can use it. I just click here. I can do feature generation, I can do feature reduction as well, so I can do PCA, for instance. And what is really interesting in this part, you will be able to test all the algorithms you want to test. So here you can see that Dataiku chose two algorithms for me, so random forest and the ridge regression. So with all the hyperparameters, uh, but I can see, okay, in my random forest, I don't want to test for 100 trees, but I want to test for 150 trees as well. I don't want to test 17. I want to test 12 for the maximum depth of 3. And I can change my hyper parameters directly here. I can as well say, okay, I don't want to test a rich regression, but I want to test a lasso regression. I want to test an XGBoost, and each time you will be able to choose everything you want. So it's really powerful, and you have all the famous machine learning models directly in the app. And then when you choose everything you want to test, you will click on train. So I cannot do it now because it's time consuming to train an algorithm, but to train a model, sorry. But we can do it, and then we will be able to compare all the models together and be able to see which model is the best, and we will be able to deploy it on the flow. So here it's what we did. So here you can see that we have an XGBoost deployed on the flow. With this XGBoost, we will be able to do a prediction for the severity of the accident. So it's what we did, and I will just end with showing you this part. So here we have our datasets and what I showed you just before. And if I go at the end, I have new columns. So here I have the real severity of my accident. Here I have the prediction of my model. And here we have a classification system, so the real severity of the accident. So here it's a not severe accident, and here you have the prediction of the model. So here you can see that it's a not severe, and the model predict not severe. As maybe we have yes, here for instance we have an error. You can see that here we have a severe accident, and the model predict a not severe accident. So it's not perfect. But if I go uh, on the column is correct, sorry, I will be able to see if my prediction is correct or not. And if I analyze that, I see that on my sample, I have approximately 80% of correct answer. So it's quite a good number. Of course, it's not perfect. Of course, we can do a lot of things to improve it, but that shows that you can do a lot of things really quickly with the low-code platforms today, and you are able to deploy machine learning without a lot of knowledge um, directly directly on your data with this kind of tools. So I'm sorry I cannot show you everything. I think I'm already already take too much time. So sorry for the mic issue as well. If you have question, I don't know because I don't have a second screen, so I cannot see if there is question. But if there is question, I can answer.
All right, thank you for the presentation, Valentin. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat. And if you cannot think of anyone right now, you can also ask them in the Discord channel while pinging Valentin so that you can see them and answer them when you think of them.
Yes, yes, it's a really good point.
Right. Seems like everyone understood perfectly what you said.
It's either a good point or a really bad point. I don't know.
No, it was a great presentation. It was really complete, and I think everyone clearly understood what was the Dataiku and how you could use it. So really, thank you very much for being here for
Thank you.
us.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, everyone is thanking you in the chat right now. Well, it really seems like there are no questions from our spectator. So I'm going to take over the stream right now. Thank you, Valentin.
Thank you for your attention.
Goodbye, Valentin. All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for your attention for those nearly 2 hours. We had quite a good presentation from Thomas and Valentin. Just as a reminder, tomorrow we're going to have another day of this English week with 2 more presentations. I will introduce them later, uh, since I'm going to be your host as well tomorrow and the day after. But thank you for your attention. Thank you for your participation in the chat. I'm sorry for the few troubles we had with the sound and yeah, the connection seems like there have been